Hi guys, gals, and my non-gender conforming pals. My name is Carrington. Welcome back to another video, or if you are new here, welcome. I would love if you would hit the subscribe button down below, click the little bell so you're notified of all my future uploads, and let's jump into today's video. So, today I'm ranking all of the 18 palettes that I tried in the month of January. I've got some drugstore, I've got some high-end. These are all things that you guys have seen me test out on camera, and here I am now to rank them and let you know why they ranked as high or as low as they did. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way to the top. If you guys are excited, then definitely keep on watching. All right, first up, number 18 spot is this e.l.f. Bite Sized in the shade Meant to Be. This is dead last for the simple fact that, one, you can barely get this shade right here to work with you and like build up. Then this color is just so patchy and so dry that it was also hard to work with. This shimmer right here, really nice, comes right on off, swatches, you know, beautiful. I mean, like, look at that, beautiful. This right here, okay, hardly anything comes off. I literally have to sit here and dig my finger in there to get anything to come off. Granted, it's beautiful once you do that, but I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to work as hard as I have to work with this one palette to create a look. Number 17 is the BH Sweet Shoppe's Pistachio palette. One of the reasons it's ranked so low is, number one, I don't really wear a ton of super bold, vibrant colors. So like blues and greens aren't really something I reach for on the regular. However, this was so hyped up as being like the only greens palette you're going to need. And I just really felt like the quality, especially compared to like the other palettes, weren't as great as like this one wasn't as great as them. Does that make sense? Step is this Kylie palette. This quality sucks. The color story also sucks. The colors don't actually on the lid look like the color in the pan. Like this right here is a very peach shade. So why did it come out almost like a mustardy yellow on my eyes when I was using it? This black, is supposed to be a matte black, maybe at best blended out to this like gray shade. So you don't even need this gray shade because this already blends out into that gray shade. It has two glitters and then two shimmer shades. And again, the shimmer shades aren't really anything like super special. It's just, this was just such a subpar palette. Number 15 is the BH Cosmetics Bubblegum palette. Okay. The reason why, like, this is actually a pretty good palette. And this shade Frozen, chef's kiss. It's like, it's so absolutely beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. The reason why I'm ranking this so low is because I really just don't wear blues, like, ever. I would probably wear greens more than I would the blues, but, you know, the Pistachio palette just doesn't perform as good as this one. That's why that one's ranked lower. But the only reason this one's lower is just because color story wise, this one is a lot farther down than my other palettes. All right, number 14 is the Star Wars Mandalorian Child palette. So, number one, I'm just going to be the one to say I have never seen Star Wars. I have never seen the Mandalorian. I could not tell you anything about the little green dude. I don't know. I know nothing. My husband will be able to tell you anything you want to know. And then I have coworkers that will literally get into Star Wars debates and like in the middle of work. Yeah, that's that kind of a thing. But one, I've never seen Star Wars, so that aspect of it has no, like, doesn't like appease me as much. This is pretty good. This is pretty good quality overall. I just hate, for one, mattes with shimmer in them. I absolutely hate it. And then next it has like this shade, it's called the Force. It's this little like gold one right here. They have these in a couple of palettes, and it's not a glitter. It's like a very like chunky shimmer in a way, and I don't know. I do not care for those. It's just like at first At first that looks fine, but see how I swatched it and it just looks so chunky instead of smooth? Like, I literally have to like really work with it. And then after I've worked with it, like it kind of simmers down. I don't know. I just don't care a whole lot for those kinds of shades. And then again, it's a green. So I don't really wear like a ton of greens. So for that reason, that's why it's ranked at number 14. Number 13 is the e.l.f. Mint palette. This one is in chocolate mint. Okay, this is actually a pretty good palette. Again, it's something that you could easily throw on every day. I really didn't have to work hard with any of the shadows. They all just really worked well together. I really don't have any issues or complaints. I think the reason why it's ranked so low is just because I just have other color stories and formulas in my collection that I like a little bit more than this. But overall, this was a fine palette. Number 12 is this little sweet peach palette from I Heart Revolution. This I was actually super surprised about. The mattes are really pigmented. The shimmers are really nice. The reason why it's a little bit lower is just because I only have 3 matte shades. And truthfully, these two really look super similar. And then in terms of shimmers, I kind of feel like I only have like 2 ways to go with it. I can do some golds and I can do pinks. And again, okay, so let's just talk about the shimmers. So like you have these 2 golds and they are different, but I just don't feel like they're different enough. And same for the pinks. Again, they're different. Like you can tell that they're a different color. I just don't know that they're different enough. So I think that instead of having, you know, these 2 shimmers, they could have added like another matte, a lighter matte, and then maybe like a deeper matte, something like that, or maybe like a different color shimmer, just something. I just feel like having 2 mattes that are similar and then the 2 shimmers that are supposed to be together kind of being similar kind of really just kind of brought it down. But guys, like this was pigmented. I bought this, they had a sale like buy 2 Makeup Revolution things for like $6, okay? And this is originally, I want to say like $8 or $10. So the fact that I got 2 things, this would make this like almost the equivalent $3, and you can't beat that. That was really good. And I think for $10, like that's still pretty good, especially for the quality. But I just wish that like they had maybe added a little bit more variance in the mattes and the shimmers, if that makes sense. But overall, you know, that's why that's ranked number 12. Number 11. Okay, guys, this has 35 shades and it is $12. I used this out on camera and I did a pretty simple, basic, neutral look. The shades played really nice together. The reason it's just not ranked higher, because I will say, for this being $12, as many shades as you get, and the fact that they work really nicely together blows my mind. But they have these 3 glitters in here, and I hate their glitter formula. Like their glitter formula is just, it's not that good. I feel like they have like quite a bit of really light tones. And if you're fair like me, that's awesome. But if you look at this and you have deeper skin tones, you know, you may be able to use like these right here and maybe some of the shimmers. And I feel like they could have made a little bit more deeper tones in here instead of focusing so much on the light tones. But again, I think for the blendability, workability, things like that, that's why it's ranked higher instead of lower. But I don't think it's going to be ranked any higher, just because I just really think they could have done something more color wise, you know, to be more inclusive. And these glitters just really, they're not good glitters. So that's why it's ranked where it's at. All right. Number 11 is going to be my Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette. Okay, here's what the inside of it looks like. I created a look with it. It was fairly nice. Looking at this and having used it, let me put it that way. I just don't find a lot of oh my gosh. I cannot find a lot of inclusivity with this. These shades like this one here, here, here are just so light. This one was also pretty fairly light as well. And I'm super fair. So it's not like I need a lot to make something show up because I'm super fair. But I just don't think like there was a lot of inclusivity in this. They only had 3 trio chrome shades. Okay, and this is an expensive palette. And I just think for the amount of money that you pay for this, everyone should be able to use this. The trio chromes, I mean, it's supposed to have trios, right? But whenever I look at this, you know, pointed on camera or look at it in the pan, I see duochromes. Now, on my finger, I can see like green, purple, and gold. The gold is very faint, but it is in there, and I can see that. And when I put it on the lid, again, in most lighting, I can still see the 3. I'm just thinking like maybe like instead of just like a trio chrome, they could have taken out, you know, like this shade and maybe made like a shimmer. It doesn't have to be like a trio chrome, just a nice shimmer. Same for like this shade, because again, only really fair people are going to be able to use that anyways. I just think for the amount of money, it could have been a lot better. And that's why it's ranked number 11 and not even breaking into my top 10. All right, let's jump into the top 10. Boom, boom, boom. All right, first up for my number 10 spot is this BH Cosmetics Sweet Shoppe in Cherry on Top. I, again, loved this formula. I really loved the shimmer shades. This shade, Juicy right here, kind of has like, it's like a red, but it's got like this like, I don't know, it's got like a little orange kind of shift to it. 2 reasons why it's not ranked any higher. Number 1, I just don't really wear a lot of red eye looks. I will say though, when I did try this out a couple of times, I was super impressed with the red looks that I was able to create. However, these shades right here, Wild Cherry and Tart, look very, very similar. This one's maybe a little bit more pink and this one's more like a true red. I really think they could have done something just a little bit different. I think that, you know, these two could have stayed, this could have stayed, and maybe make something a little bit more in between these two. I don't know exactly what it would be, but I don't think they needed this color. I think they could have done something to make it a little bit more different so that way it wasn't looking like it was that one. So again, the reason why it's ranked number 10 is because great quality. When I do make a look, I'm completely happy with the look, and it does make me want to play with reds a little bit more, but 2 shades look very, very similar. And again, like I'm not going to be reaching for reds a whole lot. Number 9 was in my Shop My Stash bag. I'm not sure if you can get this palette or not. I'm going to try to link all of them below. But it is the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Amrezy. You guys, this thing is so dirty since I started using it. I had only used it like a few times before my Shop My Stash. But as you can tell, since my Shop My Stash, I have really dug into this. I have 2 Shop My Stash palettes. I really dig into this when I'm needing something for like more like my outer corner, or if I want to put something along the lash line. I'll definitely reach into this. But let me tell you, this shade right here called Barb. Okay, I have dug into that shade. Like, look how beautiful and wet and juicy. I love to put that like all over my lids. I didn't do that for today, but like I have like dug into that shade. This is such a beautiful palette. I'm glad that I decided to use this for Shop My Stash and really dig into it. Because again, I had only used it a few times. And so now since Shop My Stash, like you guys can really see where I've really just like dug into some of the shades. So I'm really glad that I got this palette. The only issue for me is, and this is probably like a good issue to have, is that these tones are super dark. So if I'm wanting something for like a transition, I don't really have a lot of options. And I'm not going to complain about that because I feel like there's so many palettes that are made for me where I have a lot of options to choose from, that being able to have a palette that's for deeper skin tones, plus in my book. But it's just not something I'm able to use a whole lot. But it did make it into my top 10 because number 1, okay, that Barb shade, mwah, fantastic. to this BK shade. I will sometimes use that along my lash line, and I don't feel like I lose any of the color. I don't feel like it blends out into like a gray. I feel like it stays consistently black. And again, if I ever want to use anything from my outer corner, I know I can go to this palette and find something that'll go with any look. However, they have these two glitters in here, and I'm just not like a big fan. I'm wearing the glitter kind of like lightly tapped over my eyes today. I just find with this glitter, even using the tape trick, which takes forever to get off all your glitter, I'm just still not able to get all my glitter. And I use a glitter glue. I use it for shimmers. I use it for glitters. It just still, over time, just falls everywhere. So overall, you know, this did make it into my top 10 because I think it has some really great qualities, but it just isn't in my top 5. Number 7 is another BH Sweet Shoppe palette, and it is the Orange Sorbet. I didn't think that I was going to love this as much as I did. I really feel like the colors that they really selected, I can go kind of using these, maybe these 3, and really get something everyday wearable that I can wear to the office or wear to work and it be fine. Or I can really kind of dive into these and really make it colorful and bright. So I love that. And then this shade, Citron. Do you see that shift? It's like peachy, pink, red. I don't know. It's beautiful. I mean, I'll swatch it for you. Okay. It's so beautiful. This palette is so beautiful. I just don't really dip into oranges a whole lot, but I do like the fact that this is an orange palette that I could make for every day, but I could also spice it up. And so that's why it's ranked a little bit higher in my collection. And again, that Citron shade, beautiful. Number 6 is another Shop My Stash palette, and that is my ABH Norvina palette. Now, I had used this pretty regular, I wouldn't say regular, I had used this quite a bit because this was one of my first high-end palettes, and so I was really excited about it. But as you can tell, I have just absolutely dived into this palette, especially those shimmers. I love this shade right here, and since, I don't know if you can tell, it has like a dip in it, like I can feel like the huge dip in it. And I love using that for like my transition tone. And then again, this one has more like lighter shades. So compared to Amrezy had like a ton of like really deep tones. So I really like this to really give me some nice like transition shades. And then being able to go into the Amrezy and really do something on the outer corner, along the lash line. And then this one, and then they both had beautiful shimmers. The shimmer that I love the most in here is this shade right here called Dazzling. Okay, and the fact that her shimmers are so smooth and beautiful and creamy, just such a great palette. I'm really glad that I dug this out again, and I can see myself reaching for this again occasionally, but so glad I put this in a Shop My Stash. Okay guys, let's get into the top 5. So number 5 is going to be the Sweet Shoppe Sugar Cone palette. This is so beautiful. It really is a great everyday palette. One reason, and one reason only, why it is not higher up is because Delicious and Toasted look very similar, as well as Dipped in Cinnamon. Okay, I just think they could have really just changed it in some way, like maybe I don't know how maybe made one a little bit more like icy white for you know, a shimmer shade, and maybe a different undertone or something for the color. I don't know. I just think they were super similar, or else I would have ranked this a lot higher because this is such a great everyday palette. I just kind of wish those 4 shades weren't super similar. Number 4 is my Nudie 2 palette from Laura Lee Los Angeles. This palette is beautiful, you guys. I bought this on, I can't remember if it was Black Friday or Christmas. Like, she had like this huge deal going on. It did take a while for it to get to me. But again, this is so, my cat's licking the floor. Okay. Well, anyways, it's just so beautiful. I love like the different, like, she has different, like, she has light shades, deep shades. She has different kind of like textures with like this one's kind of more of like a chunky shimmer. This one's like a nice light shimmer. But when I say a chunky shimmer, it's not so like, see how like nice and it doesn't look chunky on the skin like the Colourpop did. I just think her formula is super nice. I think the price point was fair. I really, really like this palette. I just happen to like the other 3 palettes a little bit more. All right, number 3 and our last BH palette is the Cotton Candy palette. Okay, I love like purple, pink looks. I really feel it makes my eyes pop to the heavens. So I love this palette. I did have a little bit of issue with this one being a little bit patchy. That's the only issue I've had with this palette, and that's probably why it's not ranked closer to number 1. But this formula, beautiful. The color selection, beautiful. I love all the looks I'm able to create with this, and this is definitely one of my all-time favorite BH palettes. If you like purple and pink looks, I would definitely say go ahead and give this a try. So good. All right, we're down to the final 2. And it was kind of a tough one, but I knew which one I had to give to number 1. But number 2 is the Scott Barnes Natural palette. This is a beautiful palette, okay? These shimmers are just blinding beautiful. They're very light and airy. The mattes blend together, pigmented, buildable. I really don't know if I can say anything bad about this palette. It's really good. I like the size mirror that it has. It has a big size mirror, and then it says, be the most beautiful version of yourself. And I love that. Like, I love little like inspirational quotes, and the fact that he puts that on the mirror. I love that. Packaging is pretty, like, it's just like a basic packaging, but you guys, this was a great palette. I would say if you are looking into a palette that really, you can just throw some mattes together and they all work together, all make a beautiful color story. The shimmers are light and airy and look beautiful on the lids. That is a great palette. And my number 1, I don't know if you guys guessed it or not, but it is the Give Me Glow Vivid Rose. You guys, this palette is mind-blowing. It's so beautiful. It's so good. Okay, these shades are pigmented. Okay, like, let me just do this again. Pigmented. Okay, and they still blend and work beautifully together. Let's swatch a few. Okay, they're just like some of the mattes. I mean, just look at how pigmented those are. These shimmers are just so soft. They're soft and they are like literally blinding. So beautiful. You guys, Give Me Glow has probably one of my favorite formula of eyeshadows, and I just tried them. I have bought some other stuff, which you guys will be seeing in a video here shortly when I do what I bought for January 2021. But you guys, it's so good. I knew I had to rank that as number 1. All right, guys, and that is it for today's video. Let me know what palettes you're loving this month. Let me know what palettes you're kind of hating, what ones I need to check out, which ones I should stay away from. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Click the little bell so you're notified of all my future uploads, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.